All right, so I'm here with Scott Blair of Vamps versus Wolves.
Yeah.
And over the past couple days, I've been passing by your booth, and every time I pass by, I was like, something's calling me to this. And what I think it is for me is it has kind of like a B-movie vibe, like you're really enjoying the kind of aspect of vampires and werewolves and all that stuff. What is it that drove you to this project, to create this project?
I'm a big fan, like you said, B-movie, grindhouse films, right? Like old grindhouse movies. So I wanted to do a comic book based on that, with vampire girls, werewolves in Florida. There's biker werewolves and things like that. So I'm a big fan of movies, so it's kind of like my homage to the old grindhouse and horror movies that I like.
And as a Floridian or former Floridian, I can say all that stuff fits in there. There's big biker culture. Definitely you can see, and I think that's probably why, the Sookie Stackhouse Diaries takes place in the South. There's a certain, aspect to that kind of lends itself to it, but Florida especially. So right now you've got a couple issues. What are you looking to go? How many issues is this run going to be?
So it's a 6-issue story. Yeah, we got 1 and 2. They're Kickstarter funded, and so number 2 just came out. But it's 6 issues, wraps up the whole story, and then we're doing a trade paperback at the end. But it's basically 6 issues of violent vampires versus biker werewolves, and then that's about it. Number 3 comes out next, and it's giant size, and it's just nothing but battles.
That's really great, and it's got this, again, going back to the grindhouse movies, like this nice pin-up style to it, and a really interesting gore aspect that you've got going on as well. How long did it take you to decide to do this? Once you was like, hey, I want to make a grindhouse movie, I want it to be about vamps and werewolves?
It's been a few years, but I had to get my skill level up to a certain point. See, I wrote, penciled, inked, colored it all by myself, so I had to learn how to do all those things. So it took me a little while to get to the point to do it. And each issue takes me 3 months to do because I'm doing it all by myself. So I just had to wait to get to the point, but I've had that idea for years. And I've got other comic book ideas also, but I want to get this one out just because, like I said, I'm a big fan of the genre. And since I'm living in Florida now for 6 years, I'm just taking all the things that I've learned in Florida and putting them into this book.
That's incredible that you do everything on this book. I mean, it's not entirely unheard of. That's what webcomics artists do, but this really does have the same style as a standard comic book. In a technical aspect, how do you put the book together? Are you drawing straight on your computer? Are you scanning pencils? What are you doing?
Let's see. Okay, so I lay out the pages in computer, then I print that out and I draw pencils, and then I go back, scan that in, I digitally ink it, and then digitally color it, and then send it off to the printer. So it's a long process, and I just had to. I'm getting better at it. Each issue is better than the previous one.
Sure. So where can people get it other than at conventions?
They can get it at my website, scottblairart.com, and these first 2 issues were Kickstarter funded, and we might do a Kickstarter for the other issues also. But you can find it at scottblairart.com or come out to your local Comic Cons and find it there.
Is it available on Comixology yet?
Not yet. I haven't gone the digital route. We're trying to keep this old school paper style since it's a retro kind of book, and it's very low run, just something, to get since it's my first book, just kind of get my feet wet and figuring out what to do.
That's great. I think there's something to be said for the digital, and again, like you said, it matches the style very well. In fact, some of these covers, this one and especially this one, which reminds me of an old movie poster, I would love to see that blown up, as a poster. That'd be great.
Yeah. That's I grew up. My family dealt in old movie posters, so there's a big influence in old posters, collectibles, pulp covers. That's pretty much my jam. So I've just taken all that and thrown it into this project.
Awesome. So if you want something pulpy, something that's a little new, check it out on his website or look out for the next Kickstarter. And thank you very much for talking to me.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Thanks.